it's Thibaud Delourme from the European Commission. We wanted to start this video conference by introducing you to an ongoing call for tender, which might be interesting for you. It relates to a framework contract for support to the Copernicus ecosystem and the EU space policy. So just the standard disclaimer, since we are talking about an open call, we want to make sure that all applicants are treated equally. And therefore, this presentation that I'm making at the moment will be recorded and made public afterwards. My presentation will be entirely based on a public article, which Julia has just put online on your screen. So this article is available on DG Growth public websites. We will also send you the link of this article so that you can find all the details that you require. A final disclaimer: I will not take any question after this presentation. The reason is that, again, we want to make sure that all potential applicants are treated equally, and therefore, if you have questions, you should submit them on the submission platform, whose link you can find on the article on your screen at the moment. So all questions will be anonymized and made public on the platform, and the replies as well. So now moving on to the call itself. So I presume that some of you are familiar with what a framework contract is, but I nonetheless explain. It's a financial mechanism through which the Commission can require contractors to operate a certain number of tasks. So it works in two steps. In the first step, the Commission select a certain number of tenderers to sign the framework contract. And then the second step is, within this framework contract, the Commission will send requests for services to the selected tenderers, so the tenderers that were selected during the first phase, and these selected tenderers will be able to submit offers for this particular service contract. So at the moment, we are in the first step, so selection of the potential tenderers with which we will sign a framework contract. The framework contract itself will cover 4 different lots, so 4 different areas. The first lot relates to support to users. It has a ceiling of 12 million euros, which means that we can, through this lot, allocate a certain number of contracts up to a maximum budget of 12 million euros. It includes the running of a help desk, the animation of the relays and academy network, supporting the promotion of Copernicus in general, the organization of events, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of the content of this first lot. Lot 2 relates to studies and other consultancy tasks. It has a ceiling of 6 million euros, and then it covers several types of studies, including studies to evaluate the benefits of Copernicus, studies to evaluate the cost benefit of different new products to be developed by the EU, ex ante, ex post evaluation of EU space policy instruments, and so on and so forth. Lot 3 relates to support startup and businesses. It has a ceiling of 8 million euros, and it includes the organization of the Copernicus Accelerator, potential hackathons in the future, business roadshows, business trainings that might be organized, so everything that really relates to startups and businesses. And finally, the lot 4 relates to skills and training. It has a ceiling of 7 million euros, and it includes all type of potential training, online or physical, for all type of Copernicus users, from beginners to expert users. All these lots, the 4 lots, will be signed for 4 years. So that means that during these 4 years, we'll be able to use these lots to sign a certain number of specific contracts, covering a certain number of activities. Each of these lots will be awarded to a maximum of 4 tenders, and you can find all the criteria in the call for tender itself. If you're interested, you might bid in several lots, but you will just need to justify how you make sure to avoid a conflict of interest in the management of the various lots. One important information: following the award of the framework contract, so the signature of the first step, as I was telling before, the Commission aims to award the first specific contracts for each lot on the basis of the relevant case study. So that means that as soon as we allocate the framework contract, we will immediately allocate the first specific contract on the basis of the case study that you will have submitted as a bidder to the framework contract. So if you're interested in this tender, you need to apply before October 31st. The tender was published on the official journal of the European Union, and all the tendering documents are available on the Commission-wide e-tendering platform. So again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to submit them on the platforms. They'll be replied immediately. And I thank you for your attention.